couple of months at least. And we finally reached the end of the first chapter, or the first section, first 19 chapters. And we're just kind of summing up now and giving the criteria for a person who wants to advance to the higher stages of devotional service. And that is called Anartha-nivritti. Anartha-nivritti means that all the undesirable traits in their personality and consciousness go away. So when a person reaches this level of Anartha-nivritti, that's the boundary or the gateway between devotional service, which is performed according to the rules and regulations of the scriptures, and devotional service, which is performed spontaneously out of attraction. See, if we have any material impurities in our consciousness, then we won't be attracted to the spiritual world. And this manifests in various symptoms called anarthas, which we've been going over for the last few days. So also, we find that a lot of people who claim to be spiritual-minded, or even claim to be gurus, demonstrate by their symptoms that they still have these anarthas. And because they maintain these anarthas, these bad qualities in their psychology, in their heart, really, they themselves cannot advance spiritually. So what to speak of their followers and their students? Mm-hmm. So we want all of our students to know very clearly what these anarthas are, how to recognize them, and how to overcome them. And then you can attain the stage of Anartha-nivritti. Let me read the shloka, just to remind everyone. Adao shraddha tata sadhu sangortha bhajana kriya tato nartha nivritti syat tato nishta ruchis tataha ata saktish tato bhavas tata prema bhyudhan-chari sadhakaranamayam premna pradurbhave bhavet kramaha. There are many stages leading to the manifestation of prema, which is the highest stage of spiritual consciousness, love of God, pure love of God. So these stages are preliminary faith, shraddha, association with devotees, sadhu sangha, initiation and performance of devotional service under the regulations of the scriptures, bhajana kriya, the disappearance of all unwanted symptoms, anartha-nivritti, attachment or steadiness, nishtha, taste, ruchi, attachment, āsakti, spiritual ecstasy, bhava, and finally, pure love of Godhead, or prema. These are the 10 stages that every devotee goes through in their advancement in spiritual life. But what we have seen, practically speaking, is that most devotees get hung up at this stage of anartha-nivritti. They never pass that stage. They get stuck there. And the reason they get stuck is that they mistake the symptoms of anarthas for something that's desirable. And so they cultivate that or desire it. And because they desire it, you know, it's like when you water your garden, the plants that you planted grow, but also a bunch of weeds will grow. So these are like weeds. You have to pick the weeds, otherwise they'll choke out the vegetables. So similarly, when practicing devotional service, because the holy name is like a desire tree that yields all desires, very powerful, this holy name, you have to very attentively pick out these weeds. That means you have to be able to recognize the difference between the weeds and the vegetables, between the desirable and undesirable traits. So we're going over this very carefully, examining all these different anarthas, so that you can recognize them and remove them and stop cultivating them. Don't desire them. Give them up. Renounce them. Get beyond them. Stop desiring them. And then gradually they'll wither and go away because you're not watering them anymore. That's what you need to get past the stage of anartha-nivritti and to the stage of steadiness, taste, attachment, ecstasy, and love. Is there any other question? No? Okay.
Why is envy called a weakness of heart?
Oh, because if we were loving, we would be happy to see other people advance. You know, a sane person, when they see someone get some good result from their activities, they become encouraged. They think, oh, I can also get the same result. This is very nice. Yay, wonderful. But a sick person, a psychologically ill person, they see somebody else advance and they're like, oh boy, you know, they got it before I did, you know. And they get all bent out of shape and then they start plotting some kind of nasty trick. This is envy. So this is a weakness of heart, because if you were to observe the principles of honesty, integrity, and straightforward dealings and so on, you would do the same work and get the same result. You see, but instead, the envious person says, instead of doing the same work and getting the same result, I'm going to pull this other person down to my level. That's envy. And that's really, it's an ethical shortcoming. It's a weakness of heart. It's a form of laziness, actually. Everyone's looking for shortcuts, you know, but in spiritual life there are no shortcuts. I keep telling this again and again, that you cannot fool Krishna. Krishna is all cognizant. He knows exactly what's going on in everyone's heart. So there's no way that you can put one over on Krishna. You can't imitate, you can't cut corners, you can't find a shortcut that will lead to spiritual advancement. The only way to do it is the hard, slow, but ultimately victorious path given in Nectar of Devotion. And that's why we're studying Nectar of Devotion. Because it tells you the path. It tells you every single step, every single stage, every single technique, every single rule, every single process that you have to follow. And if you follow it, you get the result. You know, it's really simple. It's straightforward. It's very scientific. You follow the procedure and then you get the result. So people who are envious, they don't want to follow. They want to do something artificial to attain some prominent position by hook or by crook. Question? No. Okay. Okay.
Bhajana Kriya is in relation to second initiation?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Bhajana Kriya and second initiation correlate. They pretty much
Well,
start
they're
at the
pretty
same
much,
time.
yeah, it's pretty much the same.
So first initiation still in Sadhu Sangha?
Sadhu Sangha, yeah.
Okay, like preliminary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
First initiation is called Harinam. It's where you get a name of Krishna, you know, so-and-so Das, right? And the name is one of the names of Krishna, so that every time you think of yourself, you'll be tricked into chanting one of Krishna's names. I mean, after all, a person's name, it's one of the decorations on their false ego, right? So every time they think of themselves, then they chant Krishna's name without intending to. It's one of our little tricks. No questions, huh? Okay. Vaishampayana uvacha Śrutva dharmana sheshena pavanani cha sarva